制胜点的话，我感觉是我们队伍中野发挥，还有以及我们下路就不要陷入劣势嘛，让我们中野能打得更舒服一点，让我们中野如果发挥的比对面中野好的话，我们应该就能赢。LPL 选手的话，他就是一直以来发挥都挺稳定的，所以说想在他身上找到突破口，我感觉是挺难的。我的话就尽量减少自己的失误嘛，因为最近比赛失误也比较多。
I'll tell you what, Charlie, you're absolutely right, because that is exactly what went wrong for OMG in the first match.
We'll win through the mid-jungle matchup. It's like, you know what? You're not wrong. Even we said that, so we're pretty aligned there with Jelly, but unfortunately, OMG's not that aligned with how they were going to win through the mid-jungle, because they draft a little bit differently for their mid laner. That's not exactly the star we wanted from them. And then their mid-jungler lost to EDG's mid-jungler duo, and amazingly, of course, it was a 26-minute closeout.
Yes, 26 minutes and EDG were very strong. It was a clinical performance coming out for them in that first match of the best of 3. It seems like they want to continue with that performance going into the rest of the series, because there's a lot on the line for EDG as playoffs get closer.
What's interesting for EDG, though, as we do finish this set off, is that this is the last one we'll see from them in 17 days. So they actually disappear for a lot because of the Asia Games rescheduling things that are going on. So they disappear for a long time.
Bye.
If they play this game out and it's the cleanest 2-0 closeout you've seen, then they've got a solid 2-week period and then some to actually refine those skills further, to practice.
Vacation?
For the top teams, to holiday.
Vacation?
And no, not to vacation.
To practice,
not
hopefully.
To hopefully improve. But you know what? They can do what they want. I can't control them.
Vacation. No. Yes, that's what all the best teams do, right? Like
yes,
HGK and G2, all those. But no, we'll have to see what's going to happen, because they got a lot of time to actually. They've got a lot of time.
We're doing it without Mako, so just keep that one in mind.
True. That's been a lot of the controversy around EDG lately. A lot of discussion around Mako and their performance as of late.
Yeah, Mako's been, let's just say, the butt of a lot of jokes when it comes to EDG's recent performances. Though they've picked up their last best of 3 as a victory, Mako and iBoy looked very good together. You have to say maybe that ship is course correcting and things are starting to look better for them. Mako was the man receiving a lot of the hate. Now, we'll say this much, he's the captain of the team, so he's never going to deny that hate coming towards him over another player. That's what a captain is meant to do. At the end of the day, though, Mako, whilst he has got his inconsistencies and he has got his issues, the problems were never him individually. It was EDG as a team making decisions. So that's something that you'll have to watch as we move forwards into this game. If OMG can start laning phase even, then we might get to explore that possibility.
I wonder if EDG will actually let them learn, because coming into that last match, it wasn't like OMG could just sit back and relax. ClearLove was taking it to them in the early game. So they didn't quite have the decision. They'd have to play around the aggression that came out from EDG.
That's what I'd like to see again from ClearLove, though, and I wonder if we will, because he doesn't have a lot of hyper-aggressive styles on the champions that he plays. He could do something crazy like the Rek'Sai, we'll never know.
Could.
But the Xin Zhao is the one that he's been wildly successful on as of late. The 2 games that we've seen of him recently, he's had absolute pop-up performances. This time around, he was able to enable Scout. And even the last time was a clean victory, a clean closeout when ClearLove gets a lead. And that is something that always, for EDG, will remain as a strength. You give him a lead, you give ClearLove the advantage. I mean, he's a big part of the shot calling, so he's able to follow that one through. Nowhere to go next, and EDG's setup suddenly looks miraculously 1,000,000 times better. So if he's able to play aggressively again, match Jericho and Icon, take that 2v2 and win again, then EDG will look very good. But it's only the Xin Zhao so far. He's been limited to 1 champion in terms of success.
He has been limited to 1 champion, but we know that he can pull out other champions. However, the meta has always, kind of hindered him sometimes. Sometimes when he can't play those meta champions is where he starts to take a step back. It doesn't look as strong and has to pull out champions that not in the current meta and a little bit unorthodox.
Kind of like Chieftain and Mole. Chieftain always playing Sejuani and Rek'Sai as an example, or Skarner in this case, when everything else was playing Kindred, being Nocturnes and Talias. So I think ClearLove's similar to that respect, definitely, but he has been able to pick up some new junglers recently, and he's also got a lot of good old ones that he can revert back to. So that's what I'm curious, again, does he play something like the Gragas, that he's entirely capable of playing?
True.
If Scout wants to be an assassin, if Scout wants to carry in this second game, and very clearly Scout is in form.
Yeah, Scout is definitely in form. I know Klulov's had a lot of time to practice as well. From spring split all the way to summer now, he's been on the bench for majority of the time. It's mostly been Haro playing, and a lot of it was him being very vocal about he needed to practice. He needed to fix a lot of the mistakes he was having, especially around his champion pool. What are your thoughts going in towards playoffs? Do you think we'll see Klilov playing more, or perhaps Haro coming back into the roster a little bit more frequently?
Once you come into best of fives, I think it's possible that we'll see both of them more than just a single one. So that's a consideration. Last time that we saw EDG run through the playoffs, they were playing a game of Haro starts. If Haro loses, Klilov comes in and rounds them out. So it's a good incentive for Haro to not lose, of course, and good incentive for Klilov to then be able to spend a game, sit with his coach, watch the opposing jungler or opposing team, and come up with counter strategies against that. So coming into the playoffs run for EDG, I do think that's what you'll start to see more of, but so far, they are consciously putting more efforts into having Klilov start.
Well, it didn't look too good when they first brought on Klilov, but that's been shaping up recently, especially in their last match they played against OMG. It was a very decisive Game 1 victory. Now going into Champions Select for Game 2. OMG are going to be on blue side once again, and very similar bans from OMG. Varus as well as Zoe being taken away nice and early, Ezreal and Aatrox. The bans from EDG just seems like Aatrox is a red side must ban.
Yeah, it still is, definitely. Also, we are on patch 8.14. You can see that below the scores in the middle of your screen. So don't be fooled when Aatrox is just going to exist everywhere, and a lot of our meta has not completely shifted just yet.
Now, if we talk about Klilov and his champion pool, and how he's only been playing Xin Zhao, OMG are going to try and force him onto something different this time. Xin Zhao banned out. It's the final ban from OMG. Yasuo taken away by EDG as the final ban.
We'll see where they go here in terms of priority OMG. Last time it was the Rakan. I think knowing full well what can be picked against them, they may even consider the Kaiser. They may change up their draft just that little bit. I would prefer if this stays in the hands of the jungler for OMG, but I would respect it as a first pick. Taliyah being flexible.
Be the second time they hold on to Taliyah nice and early, but they're not going for Rakan early. Mako now has his chance to pick up the champion.
I mean, there's Xayah Rakan right now if you want to do EDG.
Yeah, just pick it up.
Big enabling tool. Mako on Rakan is just a pleasure to watch. Ray, of course, just poking at Klilov, who's next to him.
Do you think we'll ever see it, Evelyn, in the current meta?
I think we'll see it from Klilov once. It's the kind of pick that Klilov picks. And it doesn't matter what happens in League of Legends, Klilov can play Evelyn. It's just one of those things.
Not picking it up just yet, though. So it's going to be Ryze locked in nice and early. Scout had a good game on the champion, so give Scout another game on the champion.
They go the Ryzer duo. They leave open Xayah Rakan.
Yeah, so very early carry picks for EDG here.
If you're OMG, and if you pick one of the duo, the other one will most likely be banned away in the second ban phase.
They can pick both, but they're going towards Dr. Mundo again. OMG not changing much from their draft just yet.
And we mentioned this through the first game. I don't think the draft was the ultimate problem, except for the Taliyah going towards the mid lane above all else. We'll see where they go here, though. OMG, maybe they are still comfortable with Icon on the pick.
Maybe.
As
and nothing has changed.
Same picks, different order.
Now, if only EDG picks in,
Something's got to change. Trundle, always a possibility. Good into the Sejuanis that we saw from OMG in that first game, but into the Taliyah, whilst it is still very good, you can lock her down. She has a bit of better time controlling the map early, so it could be a risky pick.
Alistar, the supporter choice for EDG, locked in for Mako. Was one of the bans against him last match.
Was indeed.
I actually like the current meta in the sense that it's very rare we'll see a 90% or 100% similar draft in between games. Teams always change things up where they can. Reminds me of back, I'd say two splits ago, World Championship, where every draft was exactly the same depending on what side you played on.
You just think back to the Ardent Sensor meta for the most part as well. Some things just stayed the same. Now that is a Tristana ban. They've gone for the Alistar this time. I guess they've changed their priorities here.
Why?
Dunno.
I think it was Vedius who tweeted saying that on 8.15 Tristana is literally unplayable. I know Stormrazers makes her okay, but at the best.
I don't know what Vedius is saying in jest or seriously anymore, because he's also making a mockery of certain inside jokes. And I saw a tweet from him and I was like, that's not true. And then I looked it up and it was like, it's not true, it's a meme from a mic check. So just be careful when you're citing those EU guys. Can't trust them anymore.
Can't trust any of them. Rek'Sai.
Not as far as you can throw them.
It's pretty far.
Sorry, Vedius, pretty far. It's true. Shouldn't have said that.
Rek'Sai is the ban that's coming out from OMG. EDG going to ban out 280 carries, so they do take away the Xayah Rakan lane. Nocturne, the final ban here, so heavily targeting Clearlove. The final 3 bans of EDG.
As amusing, we referenced that the Rek'Sai was possible for Clearlove. He does love the pick, and they've already got a tank through their support role, and Ray is always capable of playing them. The Nocturne gone as well. Xin Zhao, Nocturne, Rek'Sai have all hit the bench. We mentioned the Trundle. We mentioned the Sejuani. He's still got those as capable champions in his back pocket. We'll see where he goes.
Curious bans coming out from OMG. Now let's see what 80 carry they decide to lock in with the Rakan. And then we'll also get to see where Talia's going. Could be in the jungle for Tiako. Could be the mid lane for Icon.
With all of these junglers banned, OMG may be trying to pick for priority, expecting EDG to go towards their top laner there, but that's also a big gamble.
It's an Ashe for Chelly to start.
Yeah, Ashe without a Tahm Kench, however. Ashe with a Rakan this time. So just double engage, very heavy in the engage route on the bottom side of the map. Talia can still definitely go towards the middle lane right now if they want, but this time around, we get something that is a much more of a flavor hit of OMG this time. They do pick themselves a big bruiser in that middle lane.
Kled being picked up by Icon, so Talia will head into the jungle. Clearlove now understanding where the flex pick is going to go. Let's pick up his jungler of choice. Xin Zhao, as well as Rek'Sai and Nocturne were banned out by OMG.
And we already highlighted this Trundle. A very good option for EDG, having the Pillar as an enabling tool for an Alistar first and foremost, for a Ryze to follow it up. They've got a bunch of crowd control everywhere. The gank lanes that Clearlove has got by picking this Trundle is massive, and he's enabled by those laners, so he doesn't need to have hard crowd control himself. And Trundle having those level 2 gank capabilities forces summoner spells, if nothing else, just by having the Pillar. For the side of OMG, that Talia does flex towards the jungle and has a bit more control, maybe a slightly higher clear speed over his respective opponent.
Still difficult lanes to gank. Dr. Mundo.
But he doesn't have lanes to gank for, yeah, that's the major difference. What they are looking at OMG, and this is similar to Game 1 again, is the level 6. Is having the ultimates, is having the ability to navigate around the map with those ultimates available. So that's what you're looking at here. EDG, they can still have a strong level 6 for certain, but 2 of their ultimates don't actually do, 3 of them don't actually do damage at all. And even the Trundle ultimate, I wouldn't say does high damage, it's more about utility that's there. So level 1 through 5, they are strong. Level 6, they've got a lot of utility, but OMG's damage ramps up.
But if the first game was testament to anything, EDG don't really care about level 6. They're going to try and take it to OMG very early into the match if they want a repeat of the first game.
Love me some brawly men in the early game. Capable from EDG, Trundle still able to level 2 gank, much like the Xin Zhao was in that game number 1, and it was for the mid-jungle duo. Now, Chelly has even come out and said in those interviews that he believes the mid-jungle determines the outcome of this game, and that he's just going to try and handle iBoy in the 2v2. Not beat him down, just handle him. EDG, they've got momentum. Their mid-jungle duo won that first game very easily. The couple of mechanical plays, even from the old man fingers of Clearlove. It's not that old, but
He's been around for a long time though.
I feel weird calling Clearlove old because he's my age. It's not that old.
Well, he's been playing League of Legends for quite some time. The first player in the LPL Clearlove, 0001. He's quite proud of that. It's good to see that he's still playing from time to time with EDG. He's been
still here.
substituted in.
Yeah.
Haro's been taken off and he's on the bench now. Still the questions of will Clearlove keep playing for EDG all the way to playoffs, or Haro come back in or up in the air. But at least for this match against OMG, he's going to continue through the series. And let's get on to the Rift for match 2 of this best of 3.
Oh, they're doing it again. EDG went first and they're on the red side, so OMG just have to go second and everyone gets about 17 chance. It's a mess. Welcome to whose lane is it anyway, where the teams are made up and the sides don't matter.
Poor form, to be honest. Poor form. Let OMG go first. They've been on blue side
EDG
twice.
are excited though, Fish.
It's OMG's home arena.
But they're winning.
You're not in your own house. When you're at someone else's house, if they ask you to take off your shoes, you take off your shoes.
No, that's true, but wherever EDG go, it is their house.
No,
Yeah.
that's not okay. It's not their grandfather's road.
It's not if it's okay or not. They have so many fans that they take over every place that they go.
So what? That's like you in a Bjergsen shirt.
Yeah, well, everyone believed that was Bjergsen, so I could have if I wanted. I didn't.
No, that is absolutely not true. You were Bjergsen for a solid 4 photos.
I was. But for the most part,
You were Bjergsen.
so for the most part, they don't come up and ask for photos. In China, they don't often stand and say, hey, are you Bjergsen, can I have a photo? They just take one from the distance, and you just have to kind of roll with it.
Just yell Bjergsen at you.
Yeah.
TLDR.
So that's why I was in photos as Bjergsen.
TLDR Bjergsen. Klilov got his blue buff taken away by Dieko to start this match. So he's now making a beeline towards the opposition's blue buff, and they know exactly what he's trying to do, but might not be able to get there in time.
Good early control from EDG through vision, but yeah, the question is, will he get there in time? Neither of them have smite.
Ooh,
So-
flicks back.
He's going to get it, it's fine. It's the Scuttle Crab of choice for Clear Love this time, which is not a bad option in the end. You're getting double buffs is fine. Getting triple buffs, even if best case scenario happens, is still viable as a advantageous point. But the Scuttle Crabs are worth a lot of money, so if you're able to lock those ones down, you'll feel really good for yourself on those recalls. And Trundle has got both of those Scuttles secured, so it's still good for EDG. Still a good trade in the end.
It's not bad.
Relatively speaking.
Very good stuff from Dieko. Klilov's going to try and see if he can go for a gank. That's
Oh,
a
they are
flash
on.
forward come out from Mako. Immediate flash from Chelly trying to get away. Flashing over to knock him to get the pillar down as well. Chelly's not long for this wall. Easy pick up for iBoy in the bottom lane. If he can get the last sword attack, and he does. First blood going over to iBoy.
They get the white flag, they get the thumbs up as well, EDG, they get that first blood. It was a super early flash from Chelly, but the combo is still connected, so they'd applied the damage, and they are able to give that one over to iBoy. So Clear Love, he goes exactly where we thought he might. And it's ganking towards the mid and bottom side of the map. As a Trundle with an Alistar to enable you, he has all the lanes in the world to gank for.
Yes, he does.
He just took his pick of the litter, and it's EDG. So of course it's bottom lane.
Bottom lane targeted by EDG. Early first blood being picked up. They even give it over towards iBoy. Icon charging forward in the mid lane against Scout. Scout will get the speed boost though and actually knock Kled off his mount.
That's never a place you want to be as Kled against a Rise is dismounted, especially with a Trundle that could hover around, but he's got Dieko nearby. Often when you see a Kled dismounted, you know the jungler is here, otherwise he can't step up. Not a lot of utility coming from the de-skulled Kled.
Kled is close by, no flash, no mana, and Kled is fairly low on mana as well.
He's being handled in lane. Scout currently holding that wave, not letting it crash under turret and having teleport forces Icon uncomfortably far forwards. So Dieko has to come in and assist, and just the push and just letting them recall. Even Mako's like, that will not happen. This will be frozen whether you like it or not, OMG. Step up to the plate if you dare.
That's one of the problems with Kled. If he gets dismounted, difficult for him to get back on the mount very early into the
Skull's
match.
not here. Oh, I know. It's hard. But yeah, of course the teleport is there for the Rise, and
Ah, look, he's back.
Icon went for a recall, decided that Scout was recalling and cancelled it. For those that are wondering why we're dancing in the mid lane.
Good damage coming through. Klilov's here. Pillar goes down. Icon in a lot of trouble. Forced to flash away. Wants to get remounted. A couple more auto attacks would allow that. And teleport
Almost.
even being used by Sion to come into this mid lane.
Completes it, so I guess he was just coming back from the base. This has been a very interesting start through the middle lane. At the end of the day, the minions crash, so everything subsides in terms of aggression. EDG still controlling the map a bit more, but OMG are here. There's resilience. They're playing better.
Ooh,
he
Klilov,
doesn't
no!
know.
There's a lot of people there. Klilov taking a lot of damage. Alistair tries to come in. Ignite's ticking. Heal comes through.
alive.
Dieko flashes forward to get that first kill, but Ibo's going to get another one. 5 and Dieko both trying to run away. Mako looking for his cooldowns to continue with the crowd control. 5 doesn't get hit by Ibo's passive.
And you could see what Clearlove was thinking. They had vision of Chelly, but Chelly was just the grand bait master in that instance. However, because EDG was still collapsing as well, they're able to make the trade. Jekko about to be spotted, so there's no real chance you would expect of the flick hitting, but there it is.
Oh, but 5 taking so much damage. iBoy capitalizes on it. Mako is going to get taken down though. Chelly responds with a pick of his own.
EDG just traded in a 2 for 3, so they do lose a lot of minions under this turret. However, iBoy is still alive to catch them. So at the end of the day, I mean, EDG are winning these trades, and it's by small details, but it adds up. And here comes Icon. It's not stopping. He's going to miss.
Teleport's coming in for EDG though. Remember, Siyoung doesn't have his own teleport. They turn straight towards Chelly. No flash fail before the dash. Icon tries to dash in on top of Clearlove. Good damage, gets dismounted. EDG turn around looking for Claire. No flash for him, and iBoy gets a second kill for himself.
They're not done.
Realm Walk gonna try and take them through. Scout as well as iBoy. Follow on top of it. Jericho hugging the wall, but gets splashed on. Room Prison tries to knock one back. iBoy, a few mortal attacks will be enough. Smite try to get the health back, but iBoy picks it up, and EDG aggressive against OMG.
But look who's got 5 kills suddenly at 7 minutes. That's not meant to happen this way. 5-0-1 is iBoy. Scouts just completely traded places with him from game to game here.
Yep, he's not iBoy, he's I-Man.
There's been constant action, there's been constant fighting, and you never really take a second to press tab and look at who's reaping all of the rewards here. But after that first blood in the bottom lane, iBoy's just taken everything from OMG. Did you have 6 kills, and he has 5 of them.
Already with a BF sword. Here's that play and that dive coming out from OMG.
Icon just misses. He's off the mark there. Scout also very quick with the teleport the second he hears the charge, knows it's coming bottom lane. Now a mistake potentially from EDG is that they don't kill Chelly as soon as they possibly can, perhaps trying to give the gold over once again. So he gets a couple of extra auto attacks off on the Clearlove, who does eventually die. And Jekko with the flash forwards, even if the flick connects. And even if the smite was not calculated for here by iBoy, it's a single target getting hit by those missiles, so maximize the damage.
That's a 8-minute Storm Razor being picked up. Ray and Siyoung going at it.
Ray had a minion. He's alright.
He's going to go Mega soon.
He's also gone towards Berserker Greaves. This is not the first time we've seen Ray do this on his Narc. And he loves to go towards that attack speed and movement speed as fast as he possibly can to dodge away on those cleavers and maximize the hyperproc damage that he's able to put out. And as you can tell, it's working wondrously for him.
Doing well on the top side of the map. He'll heal up through his passive as well. Still stacking his skull.
He was spotted. This is where Trundle just runs up the river towards the Talia. I think Rise might be able to collapse first if it comes to it as well. Talia has to respect it.
Heads back into his own jungle. Jekko will continue to farm Raptor Camp. EDG have a nice lead for themselves. It's 2,500 gold in their favor, just 8 minutes in. It's not as large as the lead we saw in game 1, but
I mean, a lot of it's in one lane. That's the biggest difference for me. iBoy being huge does mean that EDG have to play a more linear style. Clearlove having the goal before, Scout having the goal before as roaming champions. That could go around the entire map. This time around, I think EDG will be going towards iBoy. In this case, iBoy can come towards the Dragon. That is free to take for certain. But what you want to see from EDG to continue to accelerate this game is bring Scout, bring Ray, bring Clearlove. You don't have to bring all 5 if you don't need, because you're already strong enough in the 2v2 to win. But bring points of advantage down into the bottom lane to make plays.
Jekko setting up for a gank in the bottom lane. Chelly throws out the arrow, flash away from iBoy. Mako getting locked down, pops his ultimate nice and early.
That was a big flash, actually. Big cooldown used by iBoy, and now that flash was sick. He actually would have dodged the Ashe ultimate pretty much from point blank. So his finger was on the trigger there, ready to go. But Mako was going to respectfully tank that one for him anyway, so... Duo not communicating all that much about what would happen if the Ashe arrow was thrown out, but
split second decision as well. Ooh. Speaking of split second, Chelly.
AD carries are not allowed to have flash in this game.
But there's a big fight around Dragon now. Jekko, can he get over the wall? Brides the Talia ultimate, gets off nice and easy. No damage coming out from EDG. Clearlove, just pop your subjugate. Can't do it then.
That's true. He didn't want to use that ultimate. It's too much utility for him to stay alive when he's diving someone, maybe. That's what we'll see anyway from EDG, I would expect. Control of this 2v2 will persist for a long time. As long as they've got the item advantage on a Kaiser against the Ashe. Ashe meant to be a lane dominant style champion with the volleys, with the lane control that you have pushing. It's not going to exist this time around. Man, there's just so much respect going on with the summoner spells here. It's by no means a bad thing, because here comes Icon. He has to run.
Yeehaw! Try and jump in the back lines. Ray doesn't have Mega Gnar anytime soon. Sion wants to try and dive this, but iBoy's here as well. Heal might not keep Ray alive. Ignite is still ticking, and they get
Both
two
die.
kills for it. iBoy's going to fall as well. Clearoff now wants to try and join the fight. Sion has taken quite a bit of damage. Still wants to go through.
You call that one a day. Call that one a day if you're EDG. iBoy is dead, and Ray also very fragile, like you mentioned. Not having Mega Gnar is immediately going to go down also. A nice attempt from iBoy. No one saw anything. Move away. Avert your gaze.
New Chroma for Alistar.
Oh no, Golden Chroma Alistar. It looked pretty, but it only lasts 3 seconds.
Get what you pay for.
That's true.
This is a interesting dive coming up from OMG, capitalizing on Ray being here. And it should have just been the one kill, but iBoy says, I want to die too.
I think there's a world where Ray could have saved that flash that he used very respectfully later on. And that's one of those things. You know, great flick there from Jekko.
That was
good
damage,
nothing. Pretty much, yeah. Here he goes bottom though.
Jumping
No
on top of
flash.
Shelly. I'm sorry, Shelly. It's mid lane. Scout's going to be forced to use his stopwatch. Flashes away, but still falls. Teleport coming in from Ray. He cancels that as Clearlove is the only person there. OMG have actually clawed back the gold lead.
They
from
have.
3,000 gold to only 500 in
And
EDG's
so
favor.
much of this comes down to the mid and the jungler. The place that we were looking at in that first game and said it was an absolute mess. This time around, because iBoy has all of the gold, it's not going to pivot as freely for EDG, and suddenly OMG are able to play around the map, have points of strength, actually have places that they can try and focus, and they find themselves in the driver's seat in certain regards. Now the Talia, so much better in the jungle position. Kled doing a lot of work.
iBoy being caught out here though, takes a lot of damage. 5, one more auto attack would do it.
And there goes iBoy again. That's 2 pretty much consecutive deaths. He has traded a kill, but that's twice now for iBoy.
I was going to ask you, if you could put all your gold on one player in EDG, would it be Scout or iBoy?
It'd be Scout. Now, I do think that iBoy is a good person to put a lot of gold on, but they aren't compositionally really designed to enable, you know, protecting the AD carry, so to speak. So, if there was like a Juggermore composition, my answer would always be iBoy. But I think generally speaking, I actually would always pick Scout, because that means he's done well in lane. And that never happens in international tournaments. That's what you want.
Scout's not having the best of
no.
laning phase, but he's not falling either. 0-1 and 3. Gold is now dead even, so I mean, it's a small advantage for OMG. OMG able to pull it back after the dives being made. Top lane, 2 mistakes made by iBoy as well, costing them quite a bit.
Equalizing the kills was a very good start for them. Now they need to transition that. They hit level 6, they made those plays, and they did bring the gold lead back. It's pretty much exactly like we said the team compositions would want to play out, but both teams have executed significantly better, namely OMG, I should say, in this second game. But past those kills, past the level 6 point, there is still a strong area on the map for EDG. So for OMG, I mean, Kled can take down a Kaiser, Rakan can engage, Ashe can engage. It is screaming to me the bottom lane as a place of focus.
Especially with iBoy and Mako's flash currently down. Is a place they can look towards
Teleport
attacking.
advantage too.
Yep, teleport advantage for Siyoung in the top lane. Scout still has his. It doesn't matter too much when Kled has a charge for himself.
Yeah.
Should be able to cover roughly the same distance as long as he is in the mid lane.
Now one thing to consider though for that Kled is that he's gone towards the Ignite. So he's not going to have a teleport, and if EDG eventually start to hit that mid-game strategy where they can 1-3-1 if they want, then it's going to be a little bit harder for OMG to deal with, especially specifically regarding lane assignments. OMG know all too well what that feels like though. They recently lost to this.
It's been much better in game 2 though, and it seems like the identity of the team a little bit stronger as well, with the bruises being picked up in the mid lane. Diego picking up Talia in the jungle as well, which is something we expected for the first match, but they flexed it to Icon.
Lots of pings here from OMG towards mid lane, but EDG are hovering.
Icon's gonna go in, Scout's in some trouble, tries to realm warp out, but gets cancelled by Rakan. Icon did go a little bit too far forward, so Scout will be met by Siyoung, pulled back by Bear Trap on the ropes. Ray is here, and they kill the mid laner first. Arrow gonna connect, but it's gonna be iBoy with the shutdown onto Talia first. Now, OMG gonna try and run away. There is Blast Cone available, they should be able to get there in time. One over the pit, one further back towards Tribrush, but it's a 1-for-1 trade.
And just 1-for-1 in the end. The rest of EDG were always there, and that's exactly what we were saying just prior to the fight starting. OMG, they were pinging mid lane. They were absolutely looking to take down Scout. He has no flash on the rise. I think that is entirely valid of an option. Icon also even cutting off his escape routes so that Rakan can get him with the ultimate if need be. They lock him down. But EDG, because they were literally right there, they just killed the closest target. Now Icon, no ult.
Ray, though, being jumped on by Icon, forces Na to try and dash away. He's going to go Mega in a second. Mako comes in first. Ray's going to be able to lock him down. Bear Trap Road doesn't pull him backwards. Icon dismounted, but knocked around. Not enough damage to kill him just yet. Lives, but sniped. iBoy finds the pick. Now cleared up into the back line. Zonya's being popped by Sion to stay alive a bit longer, but not long for the swirl. Scout gets another kill. Shelly forced to flash away as well, and OMG suddenly lose 2 members.
That stopwatch was just to buy time. There goes EDG making a proactive decision, and suddenly they're able to get the 2-for-0 trade. They get a turret as well, and the map starts to blow a little bit more open for EDG in their favor. Now, with that move, they still haven't broken the mid lane out. There's an opportunity for Talia to go towards the dragon, but moving forwards, no flash on Chelly means that he is a ripe target for the picking.
Certainly is. Deco will spend the time while everyone is in the top lane to pick off Mountain Dragon for the team. Scout returns to the mid lane. He'll continue farming there for EDG. EDG take back a small lead for themselves.
Oh, that feels bad. If you're going to go around and kite the dragon, you don't stand in the middle of that AoE area that doesn't have worked ground and just work it all. This isn't a Missy Elliott soundtrack. Look at that. The Olympics.
2020? League of Legends at the Olympics? You reckon?
I don't know what I reckon about that.
Why not?
It's just a conflicting thing. I feel like esports should have its own Olympics.
We should have our own Olympics, and then the argument should we include grass sports? Just everyone wants to be an our version.
We'll just
of
include the
Olympics.
grey area sports like shooting and darts.
Chess.
Just really confuse everyone. No, I don't know how to feel about that topic actually, Fish.
It's an interesting one.
Sooner or later it'll happen, just because, you know, the world we're in.
Asian Games is pretty cool though. I know it's not a main sport, but they're considering it for 2022. Something along those lines. Oh, look back. Clear up at half its health.
Good damage, and he can't regenerate freely, so nice little flick there from Jericho. Now still having a pretty good game so far in his Talia. You have to give him some credit.
Yes, you do.
I also think the 5 has been playing pretty solidly on the Rakan. And whilst Chelly is 2 and 4, I mean, there's some inescapable deaths happening right now. And his mistake or not, EDG are picking on him. So for 5 to be 2, 1, and 3, getting towards his first completed item, the Zeeks will be a big enabling tool for him. I think 5's been doing quite well.
5's been playing well. He's always good on the engage-based supports, and OMG aren't as far behind as they were in the first match. Gives him more room to work with.
I mean, 5's one of those players. You know, we always said from the day Rakan came out that he looked good on the pick. But he's one of those players that his name is very apt in that he'll have 5 kills or 5 deaths. And nothing in every other column, usually. So it is very good to see, very refreshing from OMG's side to see 5 step up to the plate and perform decently well.
You can see how much gold is being put onto iBoy though. He's got 1,300 in his back pocket, but
Yeah.
sitting 3,000 gold ahead of his counterpart of Chelly.
And it is important to actually note with this Kaiser that, you know, while she's been caught out of position a couple of times, it's a scaling pick. And now it has a big item completed. And those item breakpoints are the biggest enabling tool for Kaisers anyway. So you're willing to forgive the hiccups in the early stages of the game after those first 5 kills? To say that we can get to 3 items regardless because of how this started. And that's exactly where a Kaiser wants to be.
Should see the Seal or the QSS come out of iBoy shortly. Not going back to base anytime soon though.
Hard to have a QSS though. There's an Ashe and a Rakan, so you need it for that. But even Rakan, you can't really QSS.
They're trying to collapse it towards Siyoung. Ignites there. Easy pick for EDG.
And
They
Xiang
get a
just
turret
shouldn't
off
be
the
there.
back of it too.
Yeah, Xiang just shouldn't be there at all. Should just be backing away. He's not going to be able to defend the turret. Look at the vision that OMG have on their red side jungle. Plot
That second
twist,
turret?
there's none. So they're going to continue to push forwards here, EDG.
Yeah,
and this is control given to them by Xiang Dai.
They've got so much damage for the turret as well. Seems like OMG's response to try and take Baron. Realm Warp for Vision though, so Scout spots them out.
He sees 2 of them. He should know that there's going to be 4. Clearlove is nearby, and Clearlove has got the flash. That could be the final nail in the coffin.
Teleport for Ray if they find a way for him to get into the pit. He's going to try and teleport to the backside. 2,000 hit points. Clearlove can try and jump in for the steal. Does he go in? He does! Doesn't get it! Talia will secure it, but EDG going to try and find a fight. iBoy dashing in, gets the first kill. The rest of OMG very low. 5 forced to go over the wall. So is Icon, about to be remounted. But that's a double kill for iBoy. There's another player close by, but they do cancel the teleport coming out from Xiang. OMG get the Baron buff, but they lose 2 members.
They do get 2 Baron buffs onto 2 important members on the team, but at what cost is always going to be the question. Is EDG, they get the kills, they'll press forwards in the middle lane, and they'll also get the turret. I respect that choice from OMG. I respect it with no hesitation. They go over to the Baron. Now, Jekko does win the smite fight here. I believe it was about 200 health. They Clearlove smoted out, so way too early from the jungler of EDG, just predicting perhaps the smite from his opponent. It's a gamble. iBoy able to ult in, clean them up, no problems.
Good reaction from Jekko to pick up the Baron buff for the team. Good decision making and shot calling from OMG to at least do something proactive.
And you said Zeal or QSS, why not both?
Yeah, I mean, you got 2,600 gold, you're 10, 2, and 3 at 22 minutes into the match.
Feeling real good for himself is the old I-man.
Stepping up today in his AD carry performances, still making a few positional mistakes, but seems absolutely fine for EDG.
You know what has stepped up though? Is that EDG were aware the Baron was being taken and they were there to contest it. And they didn't put too many resources into the bottom lane when they tried to push that one. So, you know, last time when you watch EDG play on Summoner's Drift, the mistakes they were making would be when, say, in this case, OMG go towards the Baron, they would be completely ill-equipped to defend it or even know that it was going on till it was too late and suddenly it's gone and they're losing the game. Things like that happen often, but in this case, they're aware, they're very cognizant of what is happening on the map. They don't put too many resources into one area of the map as well. They allocate themselves nicely. And whilst they don't get it, they did set themselves up to take a smite contest from OMG's attempt at a trade.
Setting up for this Inferno Dragon now. Both teams have a Mountain Dragon apiece. OMG not going to give this one up without a fight. They still have Baron buff at the moment, so extra AD and AP for their champions. Ray though, takes a lot of damage. Clearlove will take away
Mako to tank it.
The Dragon first. Realm Walk to try and get Scout back there to stop this fight. Mako taking a lot of damage. iBoy though with so much damage himself. Pops 5 immediately, goes for the second pick. Icon forced to go over the wall, but Ray's going to go over as well. EDG fight back against OMG's team fight, and they win the fight quite comprehensively. Only Chelly left alive, but not long for this well. The Scout goes on the killing spree, and OMG, that looks like the best fight for them to pick.
Yeah, but there goes Chelly very early on as well, not really being able to output his damage. So the way that this starts for OMG is they chunk out Ray. They thought that Ray being so squishy with a split push build, being in mini Narf form, and having no health would enable them to take a 4v5. But you cannot take a 4v5 if iBoy has everything up, flash, heal, QSS, and his ultimate. And they tried to engage on him through an Alistar, through a Trundle Pillar, and trying to go through the front of EDG. You'll see it here with the Kled charge. And again, I respect the idea from OMG, but that's not how you want to play this one out. Scout, he had the ultimate, he covered the distance, and he's here. iBoy with the QSS immediately kills 5. Xiang, I mean, he's not tanky. And iBoy, whilst he doesn't get over the wall, he still gets a giant shield from it. That's just so easy, so clean, and so clear from the side of EDG and what they're doing right now on this game and how their team fighting.
Mako as well standing right in front, so even when Xiang flashed over to try and stop iBoy, now straight to the sky you go.
So I spent a lot of time watching EDG in their last sets. Losing 5 in a row is a disaster. So I wanted to watch a couple of their games, especially the recent ones, to see what they were doing right and wrong. And for EDG, it just felt like, you know, if someone was coming at them, they were struggling. And that's always been the case. You know, they're the proactive team, not so much the reactive team. But this game, they are reacting brilliantly.
Not just this game, but this best of 3.
Yeah. Whatever their problems were before, I mean, I'm not seeing those problems as much in this game.
No Haro, no problems.
That's not the case. Clearlove was still causing problems of his own. Let's not be mean to Haro when he's on the bench and he can't fight back with results.
fine.
It's the EDG mantra.
The EDG mantra is to not be mean to
It's to
Haro?
fight back with results.
Ah, okay.
It could alternatively be don't be mean to Haro, but I haven't
I
confirmed that
I
one
like
yet.
that as a mantra. Don't be mean to our players.
I probably couldn't do it.
That should be Reddit's mantra. Don't be mean. Just, period. Don't be mean. Stop.
Let's hit realistic goals. That's not one of them.
I believe in Reddit. Good bunch of people.
What do you believe in Reddit?
In them being a good bunch of people. Arrow though. Oh, no, we're good. Yep, throw everything and more, but nothing happens. Just like I believe in Twitch chat spamming PogChamp.
I will admit I don't dislike Reddit by any means. I actually enjoy going on there. But if you're saying I
you play
believe in
League of
their
Legends.
ability to be nice to everyone, then I think we throw that opportunity out the window immediately.
If you play League of Legends and if you're a big fan of esports, there's a high chance that you're on Reddit.
This game's so clinical now from EDG with the leads they get.
Yeah,
OMG are the
back.
ones that are making plays though, and remember that they are still making those plays. So that's where the Vigilance has to come in. Scout!
Scout gets collapsed upon by 5. Everyone's going to charge in. Flashes over the wall. Chelly is there. Scout! How is he still alive? Will finally fall, but iBoy joins the fight in time. Now the rest of OMG are in trouble. Ray
There's a Mega now.
about to go Mega on top of Siang here though. Decides to collapse into the rest of the players instead. Deco, not long for the spot. EDG get another pick for themselves. 16,000, sorry, 600. The two extremes of
6,000 gold lead.
6,000 gold lead, not done yet. Icon now being caught out somehow. Meganar throws him backwards and iBoy gets another kill for himself.
Honestly, Icon should not be there, but he is caught out of position. EDG, they make it a 3-for-1 trade from Scout being caught
That's
out.
game.
Great vision from OMG is what starts it, but once again, EDG, they respond in kind and they best their opponents on the rift.
Let's see if EDG try to go for the end. No, they don't.
Baron in 10 seconds. Maybe the thing that they look towards. Baron number 2, very easy for them to take. OMG got the first one. And if you want to close the game out, you do it clinically through that Baron.
Sure. Solar Scout having 20 seconds, teleport up for him as well. Sorry, with Icon having 20 seconds before respawn and Scout having teleport. Could have been an option to try and go for the end. Nice try.
That was an arrow. Just casually listed to the side. Maybe there was a chance because it does AoE if it hits a champion, but that was not a champion. We get to see the engage. Scout is on vision, and he actually, you'll see towards the end of this, almost lives with his ultimate. Like, he is that close to getting into the ultimate, denying the damage that would be dealt by the rest of OMG. Almost gets out, but he's dead. And now iBoy, of course, has to do a lot of the damage, but it's the front lines that are able to enable iBoy to do exactly that. Mako having a very good game.
He is.
It's going to be the iBoy story. It's probably going to be the iBoy MVP, but Mako is popping.
13, 12, and 7, 2, 1, and 13. EDG's bottom lane. Zeke's Harbinger as well as Night Spell already complete for Mako. So iBoy is I-Man right now.
And he's not I-joking around. Oh no.
Gets cancelled, knocked up, takes quite a bit of damage. Five's going to try and jump in to save his team, but instantly killed by Ray. Guardian Angel is there available for him, but he's going to get popped. iBoy to the back lines. He might fall down here.
He's alive.
Nah, iBoy still got it. This one's still alive. He's going to live through this one. EDG with the team fight. Only Icon left up. Triple kill being picked up by iBoy. Icon's going to fall, and the ace for EDG.
The emotes come out so impressive from iBoy. Now 16-2. He's able to survive through the entirety of that fight, and suddenly EDG, they open themselves up to close this game out. The Rise is going to ult the minions in, and they 2-0 OMG.
2-0 and a very decisive 2-0 at that. EDG had some hiccups in game 2, but they show how clinical they can be towards the end. 30-minute victory against OMG.
And if you ever doubt iBoy again, you can just watch that last team fight over and over. Because that man has still got the mechanics. He's still got what it takes to compete with the best. And he has the consistency with that as well. He's an aggressive player to a T. And EDG, they start playing around him a little bit more. And suddenly, EDG are able to win the games.
OMG not going to be happy with their performance. They're still fighting to see if they can take potentially 4th. But with that, their chances just get slimmer and slimmer.
It definitely does. They're already in 6th place with a game behind Snake and FPX, and Snake with so many games in hand. FPX starting to come up on a tear a little bit here. I mean, it's not looking good for OMG.
No, it's
They may well be the second team in the Western Conference to be knocked out of playoff contention.
They've just had problems all year, Rusty, OMG. And everything they've thrown at their problems have not been enough to fix them.
I believe their next set actually determines whether they make playoffs or not. They are competing against Snake.
So one of the first games Snake will play coming back into intra-conference after only playing one match so far post-cross-conference.
You're all right.
Muted.
All right, fans.
Just boop.
That's press the big red button, exit the arena.
Toxic EDG fans, I swear.
That's not toxic, that's
Mate, you
supportive.
were shouting over OMG when it was OMG's turn to chant.
How is yelling?
At the end it was fine. But it's just karma.
You're just not really picking the timings on your battles here, Fish.
And it's the karma for the original. You know, the chance
Alright.
at the beginning of the match. But it was a 2-0 victory that went in favor of EDG. They looked strong on the day, and OMG, they had the chance to fight back only really in game 2. Equalize the gold lead. We saw that from the gold graph alone,
Yep.
but even that wasn't enough.
What I will say for OMG is that you don't have to write up any funeral stuff for them, you know? Like, that second game was a better example of what
Sure.
OMG are capable of. And even though they didn't win the game, EDG still look like the better team on the day. There's moments from OMG. Like, there's takeaways from that set and from that particular game that you could say we can reproduce that, you know, consistently moving forwards. And then maybe we do look like a better team. And I think the decision-making from OMG was actually fairly sound in this game compared to the last ones. And the problem is, they were staring down the barrel of an incredibly fed AD carry against them. So even when they take these fights, EDG have just got such good individual players that they're most likely still going to lose those plays. And that's the big problem right now OMG are facing. Because I don't think Chelly can do things that iBoy can. And I think that Icon's the only one that can really do what his respective opponents can do, but not consistently enough for them to win.
Yep, and the current meta doesn't really allow him to. It's not all about those flashy mid laners. Kled's a good example there. I mean, he can pick up Kled and make some big outplays, but it's not the same as if he was on a Zed or a more
He has got the
assassin-focused.
LeBlanc.
True.
He could potentially look at. He's also been playing Zoe and getting solo kills in lane. So I think there are some things in the meta, you know, that will stand out for him. Yasuo even being banned
Bring
away
back
from him.
Cassiopeia.
Yeah, I mean, he's got Cassiopeia highlight reel. So, I mean, there's possibilities there, right?
True.
I don't think it's the champion pool that inhibits Icon in its entirety. I think it's just him playing for the highlight styles, you know, just having fun or playing with his food, maybe making too many highlight attempted plays opposed to the sound strategies. But that second game was sound. What he was doing, decision-making wise, was correct.
Okay.
It's just that they couldn't actually get the team fight successes.
Yeah, it was much better coming out from him in that match. I mean, they were able to pull it back against EDG. EDG were 3,000 gold ahead, made some plays, but again, EDG showed in this match they can react as good as they can set up.
They're definitely true. EDG, their reactionary measures were fantastic through a lot of this, and that's a big part of Mako, in my mind, in this game. Being able to stand in the front line, tank the Kled ultimates, be there to group up with the rest of his team. Trundle Pillar sets him up, he hits it home. I think the auxiliaries of EDG looked a lot better.
We also threw some questions Clearlove's way, because he has come back for the team since their losing streak and has been playing at the jungle a bit more, saying that, you know, his jungle champion pool hasn't really been targeted by teams. It's one of the first games that we actually saw it from OMG. 3 jungle champion bans in space, especially the Sin Zhao pick. Picks up Trundle, shows that he's still perfectly fine in the jungle.
Yeah, I mean, he played Trundle in these Spring Split finals as well. So he always has the Sejuani if it comes back to it. And they banned some really niche picks as well, like the Rek'Sai from Clearlove. They're trying to get rid of the target champions from him, it felt like. And he's still going to have a wealth of champions there. It's about when the meta, you know, quickly changes. At the first week of when Talia, Nocturne, and Kindred were becoming the biggest, like, must pick these champion things, Clearlove wasn't really quick to adapt to those. He'd play something to counter it instead. So I think Clearlove's played perfectly fine at the moment. I think his Xin Zhao is currently a force to be reckoned with. And that's amazing to see from him. Because that's probably the first time I've really looked at Clearlove and said, this champion may actually have to be banned from him. And that's the first time I've said that since maybe like Evelyn.
It's been quite some time, because Clearlove has had up and down performances year after year, especially whenever EDG have gone internationally. This is the first split that we've really seen him take a big step back from EDG, not being the main jungle. I believe that Hara has played way more matches in the LPL than Clearlove has throughout the year.
Clearlove's only just recently come back as well, yeah. So Clearlove, it does feel like he currently is the starting jungler But you can never discount Haro as a big player coming in. Haro's also got the capabilities of the Talia, of the Kindred, and of some other champions that Clearlove may not necessarily want to play, can play, or has played yet. We don't know if he can actually play them.
Yeah, and we're always looking towards iBoy as well, because he had 2 very good matches, and there have been games where his positioning hasn't been the best for EDG. There are a couple of instances in this match where he did falter when it came to positioning, but played quite solid, and this is what we need iBoy. This is how we need iBoy to play for EDG if EDG want to find success.
He said it himself with Clement in the face-to-face interview that I am more consistent than someone like Jackulov, which is why I think, you know, I am a better player overall. Jackulov seems to be more inconsistent. So for iBoy, I do believe that if he can keep the performance from this set, he can do that consistently through the remnants of this split, then he will start to remain a big force through the rest of the playoffs and potentially give EDG that final push that they need to come back into it, maybe place higher in the standings before playoffs even start.
He's still showing that he is that aggressive AD carry, diving all the way into the back lines here, living with next to hit
Look
points.
at the kiting.
Yeah, some of the kiting was into the opposition, but I agree with you.
I mean, he's constantly moving. Even that last little stutter step, you look at it and you challenge it, but he was trying to dodge cleavers when a Mundo flashed at him, didn't expect the Alistar to stun him. So there's a lot of good things that you can take away from iBoy here, and it's not just the scoreline or the kill participation or the damage percentage, it's his brain.
40% of his team's damage, 16, 2, and 8, and picks up a man of the match against OMG in game 2. Yeah, only his 3rd one as well.
Wow.
Mostly being scout, you'd have to expect.
Well, that guy gets all the MVPs.
True.
Every time I've watched EDG, you know, you go towards the end of the split, and you're like, who's going to be the MVP? It's usually rookie or scout, regardless of performances. So scout definitely gets all of the MVPs. This time around, iBoy, credit to him for getting that one as well. I think he had a fantastic showing.
So now back-to-back wins for EDG after a loss streak, so they're going to be pretty happy with that. We'll have to track their performance, especially moving towards playoffs, because that's going to be a big boost for EDG when they get into that playoff
EDG
run.
are fighting with TOP for second. So that's the
Yes.
big thing that we have to follow here for EDG in their trajectory. They don't have to play against Rogue Warriors, where I believe TOP do, so that's the advantage they've got for themselves. But at the same time, EDG lost that set, and that's why they're in this position in the first place. So for TOP, if they can continue to get wins, maybe cause an upset, then they can challenge EDG for that second place spot. That's what we're looking at for EDG. I feel like for the side of OMG, it's just about win what you can and try not to lose, because one more loss and they are out.
Well, that's the first set for today. Next one is going to be Team WE playing against FPX at Team W's home arena. You're not going to be joining us for that match, Rusty,
Nope.
but what are your thoughts on that second game?
I just hope the WE don't suck. That's genuinely how I feel about them, and they are getting better slowly, so that's what I'm looking forward to.
Unfortunately, WE can't make it into playoffs, but we'll see if they don't suck going into their match against FPX in the second match for today. We're going into a break. We're back with that in just a bit.
过去的荣光就留在记忆中 ，WE 要追逐新的胜利。